culture is competitive, man.
Right.
It is, but I think when it goes past the music itself to blocking things in business, then I don't understand that. Like right now, he's not even competing for a slot. You don't have a new song out that he want to be on the top 10 or top 5, and you still competing. It don't make sense.
First of all, that vote is fake. That's not a real vote. That's not a real vote. They give it to who they want to give it to. They give it to their darlings.
Cowboy Carter, Beyonce.
It's the price you pay, when you're early in your career, you feel that you have to listen. And when you buck, they buck harder and they make threats. And those threats are huge ones.
There are horrible things that happen every day, whether it be in the industry or not, mentally, emotionally, financially.
50 Cent and Eminem are finally teaming up, and they're not holding back, taking direct aim at Jay-Z and Beyoncé with a series of explosive allegations. 50 Cent claims Jay-Z is still working behind the scenes to block his business moves, while Eminem has been dropping cryptic bars for years, warning about the shady power players in the music industry. Now, those warnings seem to be pointing directly at some of the biggest names in the game. Beyoncé is being accused of stealing songwriting credits and allegedly blackballing other female artists, with names like Aaliyah, Maya, Mary J. Blige, and Carrie Hilson repeatedly coming up, artists who were once rising stars but suddenly faded. The situation gets even murkier with renewed focus on Jay-Z and Beyoncé's ties to Diddy, whose legal issues continue to raise questions. Although Jay-Z managed to sidestep a recent lawsuit by a woman identified as Jane Doe, new claims suggest the victim may have been pressured into silence. What started as industry gossip is now unraveling into a full-blown controversy, with 50 and M sounding the alarm.
You're not competing for those things anymore. You start looking and you're going, so what was the problem? You can't exactly remember what the problem is. That's what went through with you.
Right after some sketchy individuals allegedly showed up at her doorstep, things took an even darker turn, raising the stakes in a situation that's already tense. Now, the burning question is louder than ever. Are Jay-Z and Beyoncé truly the iconic power couple they present to the world? Or are they experts at cleaning up messes behind the scenes to protect their empire? Have they built their throne by stepping over the careers and possibly even the lives of others? 50 Cent and Eminem seem to believe they have the inside track, and they're not holding back. They're accusing the industry of running a rigged system that silences truth-tellers and destroys anyone who gets in the way. For years, Jay and Bey have been seen as untouchable music royalty. Criticizing them meant instant backlash, and you'd quickly be branded a bitter hater. But that flawless image is starting to crack, and now 50 and M are leading the charge, pulling back the curtain on the so-called king and queen of the music world without fear or filter.
Jay-Z and them was putting it together. So I think they still harbor some energy towards me.
You think you were purposely left out of the ad?
No.
Oh, okay.
I don't think. I think that they were saying the NFL had some issues with me that I don't know what those issues are. Like, what is the issue? You start looking at that's not mine. That's theirs. They harbor it, right? But when you look at M is looking at the entire legacy.
Yeah.
The whole thing, like with M, Dre, and myself, like I'm a shady aftermath. You see what I'm saying? Like, there's so much G in it, G in the records.
Right.
They forget that I'm M and Dre's off.
3. Let's kick this off with 50 Cent, because he's not pulling any punches. He's been calling out Jay-Z as insecure, jealous, and downright petty, and this time, he's got the receipts. Back in 2023, 50 claimed that Jay tried to block him from performing at the Super Bowl by pulling strings through his NFL connections. Wild, right? But the move totally backfired. Eminem wasn't having any of it and straight up told the NFL, "Number 50, no Slim Shady." That move alone exposed just how far Jay-Z was willing to go to keep 50 out of the spotlight. Fast forward to 50's recent interview on Talk with Flea, featuring Cameron, and he's airing Jay out again, making it clear he's not backing down from his accusations.
This is why I was saying I knew what old boy was doing.
Right.
With the the Super Bowl because he was doing like
yeah, go
he
ahead.
was doing some wild because he was saying that to Eminem that the NFL had the issue with me, and I'm like, well, what's the issue? Why don't I have an issue when I'm becoming a partner in the actual team, but they got an issue with my performance? Like, makes no sense. You know what I mean?
I was going to get to that later, but since we're here now. And when he says, oh boy, for the audience that I'm talking about Jay-Z. This was discussed before. Jay-Z told Dr. Dre, just for people who's not up on this, or Eminem, that he didn't want you to perform part of that Super Bowl they had a couple years ago. Why do you think that is?
Well, I just
threatened. Possibly.
Not even threatened. You know, I think it's just when you take the competition from like our culture is competitive, man. It is, but I think when it goes past the music itself to blocking things in business, then I don't understand that. Like right now, he's not even competing for a slot. You don't have a new song out that he want to be on the top 10 or top 5, and you still competing. It just don't make sense. Like, what are we competing for? What's the goal? Like this even like a lot of the even a lot of the competitive stuff, or what we would call it beef, right? It changed. That terminology changed from when it's Biggie and Tupac, because we start saying the things that people would say that cause beef in the environment. When before that they called it battling in our culture. Right. Because that's what it is until it turns into some street shit. So when you're not competing for those things anymore, and you start looking and you're going, so what was the problem? You can't exactly remember what the problem was. That's what I went through with you.
According to 50 Cent, Jay-Z is still out here playing dirty, not just in the music industry, but in the boardroom as well. The craziest part? 50 claims Jay has already proven everything he needed to, yet he's allegedly still trying to ruin 50's deals out of pure spite. It's not just about business anymore. It's about personal vendettas. And the drama doesn't end there. There's more to this feud that 50's ready to expose.
Young, thank you, sir. All the doors that you opened, showed us that we can be rock stars. Seeing you on the Rolling Stone. Obviously, there's Run DMC with the Leathers and the Aerosmith. But when you came out west, you took it to a whole new level. Some of you don't belong in the category. Oh, no, that was it. No, when I get nervous, I tell it.
Now, 50 Cent and Eminem are teaming up to expose what they believe is major Grammy rigging. 50's pointing fingers at Jay-Z, accusing him of using his marriage to Beyoncé like a cheat code to win awards. Meanwhile, Eminem has been calling out the Grammys for years, claiming it's a pay-to-win setup that's all about who's got the right connections. When Beyoncé finally snagged Album of the Year for Carter, not everyone was convinced it was deserved. Fans started whispering that Jay pulled strings again, especially since he took the stage at the previous year's Grammys to drag the Recording Academy for snubbing his wife. It's looking more and more like a carefully orchestrated power play behind the scenes.
Grammys, but you feel like you had to sell your soul to get them. And you didn't know if you wanted it for the recognition or the trophies, but then what's the difference? And that Grammys pretty much suck the blood of artists and nominate them, have them come to the shows. And
which they do. They do it every year, yeah. And I'm just tired of seeing it. And for whatever reason, it's like they're always pitching this hint that you might win Album of the Year, which used to be a big deal. I don't think it's a big deal now.
But here's the twist. Fans weren't buying Jay's speech. It felt fake, almost like a performance. He was up there clutching an award while blasting the very same people who gave it to him. If the Grammys are so biased, why show up at all? Why not walk away and prove you don't need their stamp of approval instead of begging for it on stage? The whole situation just felt off, and it only made the whispers louder. Now, people are questioning, are the Carters really climbing the ladder with pure talent? Or are they using blackmail and big money moves to stay on top? The lines between success and manipulation are starting to blur.
Same. 50 did not win Best New Artist at the Grammys.
There was nothing bigger than 50.
Nothing bigger, and nobody since maybe like Snoop came out the gate like that. My first album didn't do it. I never saw someone's first album and the wave happened like he had. And then he doesn't get it. And then I get up there another year, and what was it, the Eminem show? And it was like, whatever, I'm fine if I lose to Kanye or someone that I'm like, okay, I respect that. I know who that is, and Kanye has a huge following, and he's made a massive impact on music. Fine, I'm good with that. But don't get us all here to use your selling point for your show and stiff everybody every single time. And I said, after that point in time, I was like, don't ever ask me to here again. Please do not ask me. My answer is no for 100 million years. Never again will I go to...
For years, insiders have claimed that the Grammys are more about industry politics than actual skill, and one of the loudest voices shouting that truth is Eminem. He's been saying for ages that the Grammys are nothing but a scam, even vowing to never show up again, and he meant it. But don't get it twisted, it's not just about him losing. Eminem said if another artist actually dropped a better album, he'd be cool with it. What really gets under his skin is the way the Grammys use him. They hype him up, push his name in all the promos, make it look like he's got a real shot at winning just to boost views. Then, when it's showtime, boom, he's shut out like he was never even in the race. It's all smoke and mirrors. When someone asked him if he'd ever come back if he joined the voting committee, didn't flinch. He said it wouldn't change a thing because, in his words, the whole thing's rigged and those votes don't mean a damn thing. Meanwhile, 50 Cent is backing him all the way, throwing even more shade. He didn't just call the Grammys rigged. He flat out said Jay-Z's wins aren't about the music.
Joining the board and maybe you have a vote in it?
First of all, that vote is fake. That's not a real vote. That's not a real vote. They give it to who they want to give it to. They give it to their darlings. This got critical acclaim, but it sold 2 records. It ain't about always what you sell. I get that, Vanilla Ice, I understand. You know what I'm saying? But there comes a point where when an overwhelming something comes along that has this wave and impact on music, and you give it to Lada Dottie. Who? Lada Dottie. It's only Lada Dottie.
According to 50 Cent, Jay-Z's bagging those awards thanks to his marriage with Beyoncé. He claims the Recording Academy knows exactly what they're doing, because as long as Jay and Bey show up, the cameras roll, the custom flash ratings explode, and the show goes viral. So what's the play? Keep nominating them, keep awarding them, just to guarantee that power couple makes an appearance. It's all about the spectacle and the ratings, not necessarily the merit. 50's pointing out that it's less about the music and more about the business, keeping the star power in the room to drive the attention and hype.
We started to receive the 16, 17 Grammys since he's been with Beyonce. Right? And you go, prior to that, 1.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? So that came in association, like you see the kids even have Grammys. They don't sing yet. They don't sing.
Right.
They don't rap yet. And they already have Grammys. So it's like they give them this trophy so we secure that they're coming to the award show. It meant that much to the culture that they just gave them the things they would. Later, to me, I didn't care about trophies. I said, I'll get
But 50 wasn't finished, not even close. On his recent stop at the Flagrant podcast, he doubled down hard. He claimed that Jay-Z's entire empire and all those Grammy trophies aren't really about talent. It's about who he's married to. 50 even went as far as to call Jay and Beyoncé's relationship a contract, hinting that they might just be sticking it out for the image, the deals, and the power it brings. Wild, right? He's suggesting that their whole dynamic might be more about business than love, painting a picture of a partnership built on mutual gain rather than personal connection.
Look, when Jay signed his contract, the big one was with Beyonce. When he signed that contract, the marriage contract, he got trophies.
No, those fucking trophies came rolling in, buddy. He started getting Grammys left and right, man. I mean, look, listen. If you look at his career,
Wow. You're gonna let him say that?
Jay was getting Grammys.
He had one.
Exactly.
He had one.
And he ain't show up.
No, he has like 20 now.
Hold on.
He had like 18 since he's been down. Look, he had one, bro. Hard Knock Life.
Hold on. You're not wrong. At the same time.
He's like drinking. His pictures where he's the cup.
Wait a minute. So you're saying the success is derived from the marriage?
I've absolutely been treated differently.
The accolades.
Because he's no longer viewed as what, like a street or gangster rapper. Now he's viewed as a businessman, entrepreneur, family man.
And the biggest ones because of the position Beyonce's.
Oh, wow.
Right? You were connected to the biggest.
Jay got. Oh, wow. So that's the deal.
Yeah, that's the deal. Like, the other ones didn't count as much as that one did.
But it's not just 50 Cent calling out Jay. Plenty of insiders have whispered for years that both Jay and Beyoncé allegedly play dirty to stay on top, blocking other artists from rising on purpose.
Why?
So nobody outshines them, and they stay the only ones winning. It gets even darker when you consider the story of Beyoncé's former bodyguard, Uncle Ron. Before he passed from pneumonia, he went public with claims that he had receipts proving Jay and Bey destroyed careers, ruined lives, and crushed rising stars, all to secure their own throne. His allegations paint a chilling picture of two power players willing to do whatever it takes to stay at the top, even if it means taking others down in the process.
Beyoncé and Jay-Z will do anything to destroy anyone who speaks out against him. Hey, I get the threats, but you have to remember one thing. I know your deepest secrets. I know so much about you and what you've done. I know so much on how you got where you are, how you stepped on many people. Beyonce, how you guys ended Carrie Hilson's career because she said something.
He claimed he knew too much and the timing of his death. Well, let's just say people are talking. And how could we not bring up Jaguar Wright? She used to sing background for Jay-Z, but now she's one of his fiercest critics. Jaguar's been spilling everything, accusing people close to Jay, like Harlem legend Big L, of either mysteriously losing their lives or having their careers vanish right when Jay's was taking off. Let's pause and talk about Big L for a second. His untimely death in 1999 has been a point of controversy for years, and many believe there's more to the story than what's been publicly stated. Could his tragic end be tied to the rise of Jay-Z? Jaguar certainly thinks so, and she's not the only one who's raising eyebrows about the connections.
The first time I ever saw Jay-Z or even heard him spit a rhyme was at an MC battle, street battle in New York. But he didn't show up as Jay-Z. He didn't show up as the hottest rapper on the street. He showed up as that was with Big L.
Rest
For
in
those
peace.
of you,
Rest in peace, Big L.
rest in peace, Big L.
One of the
That was the
dopest.
sense
One of
that
the dopest. Yes.
Big L was who put Jay-Z on.
Without question.
And then Big L died, and then the next thing you know, Jay.
Back in the early 90s, Big L was one of Harlem's most promising talents, a true lyrical beast known for his insane freestyles. He had the streets buzzing, landing a deal with Columbia Records and dropping a debut that made serious waves. But after Columbia dropped him, Big L wasn't about to quit. He started his own label and was making real strides, getting noticed by Dame Dash, co-founder of Rockefeller. Big L was finally getting his shot, but just as his career was about to explode, tragedy struck. On February 15th, 1999, Big L was gunned down in a drive-by shooting in Harlem, and to this day, the case remains unsolved. No justice, no answers. But if you ask Jaguar Wright, she's not holding back. She believes Jay-Z might have had something to do with it. That's the level of suspicion we're dealing with here. Now, let's shift gears to another giant, DMX, one of the few rappers, alongside 50 Cent, who had the guts to straight up confront Jay-Z. DMX always said Jay was bitter and jealous, and when Jay became president of Def Jam in 2004, things got messy. DMX had been carrying Def Jam on his back, with 5 back-to-back #1 albums between 1998 and 2003. But when it came time to drop his 6th album, Year of the Dog, again, that's when the drama started. The industry politics that had been simmering for years were about to boil over.
Okay, I see what's really good. You're trying to eliminate the competition, you know, because at first you retire, you know, then get me off the label, now you're back rapping again.
And DMX claimed that Jay-Z purposely held back his album Year of the Dog. Again, why? So Jay could clear the stage for his own comeback. It was the kind of behind-the-scenes manipulation that many artists suspect, but few ever openly accuse. And the drama didn't stop there. In 2005, DMX dropped a bombshell with his track The Industry, where he exposed the shady games going on behind closed doors. The wild part? Most of what he said is still happening today. DMX's words ring true in the current state of the music industry, with many artists still speaking out about the same types of manipulations, gatekeeping, and power plays that DMX was calling out over 15 years ago. It's clear that the issues he highlighted were not just isolated incidents. They were systemic.
And the game is bullshit. If you want to rap or sing or whatever, don't become a part of the game. You know what? Listen to a song I called The Industry. And that pretty much explains, it was saying what it's about, the industry. Man, it's not the same. The industry, it's not a f***ing game. The industry, real is dying to get in. The industry, just to find they don't fit in. The industry ain't what it used to be. The industry's trying to control the way you MC. They want you to dress like this and talk like that, but I'm going dress like this and talk with the gap.
Even if Gotti, who is deeply entrenched in the industry, has said Jay-Z was jealous of DMX. Irv claimed that Jay and his mentor, Liar Cohen, used to laugh at DMX behind the scenes, thinking he'd never blow up. But DMX proved them dead wrong with his undeniable success, hitting the top with back-to-back chart-topping albums. And it doesn't stop there. Jay's name keeps coming up in connection with Beanie Sigel as well. The tension between Jay and Beanie is another chapter in this ongoing saga, with Beanie himself calling out Jay over the years for everything from betrayal to shady moves in the industry. It's clear there's a long history of complex relationships, power struggles, and deep-rooted tension between these heavy hitters.
I was like, we got to sign DMX, and they laughed at me. I remember when I left the office, Tina Davis said, she knew what I wanted to sign DMX. She said, DMX don't sell, your ass is fired. Jay and Dame did not believe in DMX. Jay would be like, you think he's better than me? And I'd be like, he's nice just like you. I said, if you look in the hood, there's less of like you and more like him. Yeah, but he don't want to live that. He's depressing, Gotti. And I said, I don't give a... So Jay used to watch me grind with X, and he was off with the Hitman. And then something strange happened when I made Get At Me Dog. If you remember at the beginning of the video, it's the heartbeats. DMX, don't know. Live at the tumble. I don't remember the tumble. Funk Massacres, don't do. And then I put that sound bite. Let's take it back to the streets, mother. Dun-dun. The video's flashing, f***ing up your eyes. It caused change. And now, there's no more shiny suits. We back to the hood, and X is the leader of this revolution. I used to put on the wall a triangle with 5. Niggas like, they used to clown me. They used to be like, who's gonna buy his records, Gotti? Chihuahuas, he's barking. No one wants to hear that bullshit. And I'd be like, yeah. It's 05. It was no more writing on the walls. It was, y'all can get behind me. I used to tell Leo in the midst of the whole staff, and I would tell him, yo, shut the f up, yo. I said, you work better when you shut up and get behind me. Now this is what we doing. And he would shut up.
Beanie Sigel has spoken out about how it always felt like someone was pulling strings to keep him down. He said Jay-Z would strategically drop his own projects around the same time as Beanie's, essentially flooding the spotlight to limit Beanie's numbers. It was like Beanie was only allowed to rise so high, but no further. Beanie has admitted to making mistakes, especially with his legal troubles, but he's made it crystal clear that Jay-Z's shady behavior wasn't just an accident. According to Beanie, Jay knew exactly what he was doing. Every move was calculated. But let's not act like Beyoncé's innocent in all of this. While some fans still push the idea that she's just Jay's puppet, that narrative doesn't quite add up. There's no way she's been standing by his side all these years without being part of the strategy. If anything, they've been running the game together, allegedly taking out anyone they see as a threat. Together, they've built an empire, and according to some insiders, that empire was not just built on talent, but on calculated moves and power plays. Here's just a taste of the tea that's been brewing behind the scenes.
I don't think one man can destroy another man's life. It's ultimately in your decisions. I had a lot of issues. Like I said, legal issues at the time. And, my mind wasn't where I'm at now today. Like, I used to have questions like why every time my album dropped, Jay would drop right on top of me. He wouldn't let me breathe or right before me. Like, I was always close. And I never understood that every single album that I dropped, Jay dropped right on top of me. And it was like, damn, like to have in-house competition at that magnitude was crazy. Jay already the boss, but I always thought that, like, let me breathe. But
when Beyoncé left Destiny's Child and started getting close to Jay, something strange happened. Allegedly, Jay-Z snatched producer Rich Harrison away from rising singer Amory, who was heating up at the time and rumored to be competition for Beyoncé. Remember Amory's hit One Thing? That record had the same signature vibe as Beyoncé's Crazy in Love, and some fans even think Beyoncé may have copied the formula after Harrison jumped ship. It raised eyebrows. Was it just a coincidence? Or was there more going on behind the scenes? Then there's Carrie Hilson. She had a very public clash with Beyoncé that spiraled out of control. Word is, Carrie's producers allegedly tricked her into recording a diss track aimed at Beyoncé, setting her up to be dragged and cancelled. Carrie denied it at first, but things got even worse when she refused to hold a magazine cover featuring Beyoncé and Jay-Z. That move made her an easy target for backlash, and the situation only added fuel to the fire. All these incidents are part of a much bigger picture, one that hints at some serious behind-the-scenes power struggles.
Where you been, A-Marie?
I've been out in the universe.
Talk about your career. Everybody always says A-Marie should have been a superstar. Because she's pretty, she could dance, she could sing. What happened? What do you think?
Know what it is? It's timing. Like, everything is timing. Like, I'm a big believer in...
Carrie Hilson was asked to hold the magazine featuring Beyoncé and Jay-Z, and when she said no, the beehive went off. Carrie faced intense backlash from fans, with some even confronting her in the streets. But behind the scenes, whispers began swirling that Beyoncé had orchestrated the whole thing. Some sources claimed Beyoncé had insiders in Carrie's camp who set her up, getting her to record that diss track while Beyoncé played the innocent victim. Years later, Carrie kind of confirmed this in a 2020 interview, where she admitted she was pressured into dropping the track and that the threats she received afterward were real. It wasn't just a fallout, it was career sabotage in disguise. And we definitely can't forget about Khalees. She straight up accused Beyoncé of theft after Beyoncé sampled her iconic hit Milkshake without giving her a single ounce of credit. Khalees made it clear that she felt disrespected and cheated out of the recognition she deserved for her own work. It's just another example of how, behind the polished public image, there are artists who feel like they've been used, discarded, or silenced for the sake of maintaining power at the top. The deeper you dig, the darker the narrative seems to